What's up, everyone? Welcome into DodgerHeads, presented by DodgerBlue.com, part of the Blue Wire Podcast Network. It is Tuesday. We are 2 days away from opening day. Scott, Dodger baseball. We finished the Freeway Series. We've got a little bit of a break, and then the marathon begins. You getting excited over there?
I am very over spring training, so I am extremely excited.
He gave me the exact same answer on the show last week. He's like, I'm just done with spring training. Let's get to real baseball. They
Yeah.
were playing in major league stadiums the last couple days, which feels good. But the real thing begins Thursday night. Let's talk about the second game of the Freeway Series happening down in Anaheim. And the storyline here was Noah Syndergaard. This is a guy who has been sort of a polarizing figure among Dodger fans this spring, in part because of comments that he has made, comments the Dodgers have made, and then just his performance on the field. Let's talk actual performance. Syndergaard makes his fifth appearance of the spring. The first three appearances were really good. 9 1/3 innings, just 5 hits, 1 earned run allowed. He had 8 strikeouts and no walks in his first three appearances. His fourth and fifth appearances, though, have been a much different story. 9 1/3 innings, 15 hits, 11 earned runs, 2 walks, and just 5 strikeouts, including last night's 9-hit, 5 earned run performance against the Angels. We'll get into velocity and all that kind of stuff, Scott, but give me where you're at with Syndergaard as we head into the regular season. He says he feels good. Do you feel good about him?
50-50. He's probably same thing a little bit. I know he has confidence in himself, but just like I've said a lot about spring training, results process. I'm more process over results for the moment. And what you saw with the Angels lineup last night is a lot of their regulars, if not all. So with the exception, I think of Zach Neto and that's about it. Like maybe
Yeah.
their first baseman. And honestly, his inability to rack up strikeout numbers, limit damage like he did last year. He still got hit around a little bit last year, but it's just I just I think he's in an odd spot where just we'll get into velocity, but having to trying to figure out who he is and what the Dodgers are having him do a little bit. He's still probably working through that. He's a former power pitcher, possibly needs to become a finesse guy, so he might be in the in between a little bit.
Yeah, and I think he kind of has brought some of this upon himself because he begins the spring by saying, I'm going to get to throwing 100 miles an hour again.
Yeah,
And the whole time, the Dodgers have kind of been like, look, we don't really care about velocity as much as he seems to care about it. And it's sort of a disappointing moment when, after last night's game, he says, quote, if I don't throw 100 again, that's fine. I'm not going out there trying to throw 100. I'm just trying to get outs, which feels like, wait, 3 weeks ago, you pretty much told us the exact same thing. And now that you're topping out at 95, now you say you don't care about velocity.
yeah.
That's concerning. But he did say this. This was his quote after the game last night. Again, 85 pitches, just 54 of them for strikes, 93.5 mile an hour fastball, 5 earned runs, 9 hits. This is his quote. I feel good. I checked all the boxes I was looking to accomplish. I have to be more selective on location, but definitely trending forward. So that's a good sign. I I mean, process over results. That is
Yeah.
as much of a process over results quote. But
Yep.
Scott, that's easy to say when you give up 9 hits and 5 earned run,
Sure.
which is I don't care about results.
Totally agree. Yeah, it's we talk about how it could be just coach speak, player speak.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the ultimate quote. I agree with him. I'm going to take him at it for now.
Okay.
Spring training, we'll roll it into the regular season and go from there. I have to. A
Yeah.
lot of these guys head into starts. They couldn't care less about the final score. It absolutely means nothing.
Yeah.
And coaches are looking for different things. We don't know what Mark Pryor told him to go out there and work on, and that's essentially what it is. So I'm going to go with that.
I mean, do you feel
As
like where are you, do you think the question I asked Daniel was he had a 3.94 ERA
Yeah,
last season. Would you take the over or the under on that number? Because on one hand, he's comes to the Dodgers, a much better organization at pitching development than the Angels are. And yet, on the other hand, everything we've seen from him this spring has me pretty concerned.
I would say that his ERA his FIP will be much higher than his ERA, which
Okay.
means the Dodgers will make it happen. They will make him appear better than he is.
Okay. Okay. And I mean, on the velocity piece, I've kind of my comment to Daniel when we chatted briefly about this on the long podcast earlier this week was maybe he does need to become the finesse pitcher that you mentioned. Maybe this is Clayton
Yeah.
Kershaw 2.0. I'm not saying he's going to be as good as Kershaw, but Kershaw has adjusted. Kershaw was never throwing 100, but he was throwing 95, 96, and now he's throwing 90, 91, 89 with his fastball at times, and yet he's made it work. Syndergaard seems to have command that is required for that type of thing. We'll see if he has the stuff to be able to get by with a 93-mile-an-hour fastball, working off of the off-speed stuff. But it does feel like that's where this is headed. And to your point, maybe that's just going to take a little bit of time because it seems like he was resistant to that early on. Maybe these last two outings have forced him to go back to the drawing board and say, all right, I can't just assume that 97, 98, 99 is going to come back to me. And if I want to survive in this league, I need to do things a little bit differently. The question is whether or not that will be successful. One other question I have for you because of last night, Scott, was who was pitching for the Angels was on full display. If you want to add on and pile on to the Noah Syndergaard struggles of last night, it was that Tyler Anderson was pitching for the Angels, the guy that the Dodgers let walk for 3 years in the exact same AAV that Syndergaard had. Anderson was much better than Syndergaard last year. Lots of people, we didn't want to give out a 3-year deal, even if it was sort of a below market deal based on the fact that he had a qualifying offer attached and when he signed. But to me, that just stung a little bit more to see the guy Anderson on the other side, who I wish they would have kept, even if it cost them 3 years to do so. And who I'll admit, I would feel better about pitching for the Dodgers than I do Noah Syndergaard right now.
Sure, totally agree. Yeah, Tyler Anderson, one of those guys you acquire, figure out, turn around, and they absolutely shine. That one, that'll sting. I'm not going to compare the two just because I feel like they're in just different categories. Syndergaard's a flyer, he's a fixer upper, which is wild to think about that Noah Syndergaard is a fixer upper. But if you look at this, what the things he struggled with last year, he is an absolute shell. And it's unfortunate. Syndergaard used to be a stud, and hopefully they figure him out a little bit, but. Tyler Anderson, man, I'm going to miss him. I think that contract was really, everybody could see it's incredibly manageable contract. And for the next few years, I think with how well he locates and he misses bats. So I think that's something that they could certainly use. But the last thing I'd like to say is that I think this might speak more to what the Dodgers front office thinks of their young starting pitching and their young options there, more so than propping Noah Syndergaard up to be their number 3 starter, because I don't think that's who he is.
Yeah, I agree. And that was the comment I got on Twitter when I posted about, man, Tyler Anderson looks good over there. Wish he was a Dodger. And a lot of people were saying, yes, it's AAV is pretty reasonable, all things considered. The problem with signing Anderson to a 3-year deal is you've got Julio, you've got Kershaw, you've got Gonsolin, you've got May. So Gonsolin and May are definitely guys who are fixtures for the foreseeable future. If you sign Anderson, that means Anderson's locked in for 3 years. I think we're all hoping that Julio is a part of the process moving forward. Kershaw, day to day, who knows, year to year, this could be his last year. But if Julio's back and Gonsolin and May are back and Anderson's signed for 3 years, then I do understand a little bit the concern of, well, what do you do with Pepio and Miller and Stone and Grove and these guys in Nistrini that are banging down the door? They might not have opportunities. And yes, you always need more than 5 starting pitchers, but I do think that's the best argument for the Syndergaard type move is sign a guy who's a Band-Aid, who, by the way, if halfway through the season this isn't working, like Gavin Stone can easily just take his spot in the rotation and it's not going to be the end of the world for the Dodgers. It's not like they have long-term money. So something to consider. I do think that's a fair argument for why you would move on from Tyler Anderson. I just think that argument isn't helped by the fact that Noah Syndergaard has struggled as much as he has. And the fact that Anderson on the other side throws 5 1/3, 2 earned runs, 5 strikeouts last night, and kind of looks like the guy that we were used to seeing last year. We could get into lefty righty too. I mean, the Dodgers have a lot of lefties, so that could be part of the equation as well. But let us know. I'll be curious. Are fans concerned? Are they worried about Noah Syndergaard, or is this process over results? Once the lights come on, this guy's going to be fine. He's going to command the fastball. It might not, be averaging 95, 96, 97, but he'll be fine. The Dodgers will make it work. Or, oh my goodness, what the heck did we sign ourselves up for? Let us know in the comments below. That's Scott. My name is Jeff. As always, thanks for joining us. A couple flyers real quick. We are starting our live watch parties this week, Thursday night, opening day. Make sure to go to Playback. The link is in the comments, the description below. Getplayback.com/DodgerBlue1958. Free watch party. Join us for opening day. Join us Friday night as well. We'll be doing both of those. And then right back here on YouTube, live post-game shows in both of those things. Scott and I will be doing live watch parties every Tuesday. We'll also have live watch parties every Friday, post-game shows after all that. So tons of content. So if you're not already subscribed here, subscribe, ring the notification bell, check out playback, and join us on opening day or day number 2 for those type of things. Again, that's Scott. I'm Jeff. We appreciate you joining us. Enjoy the rest of your day. And as always, go Dodgers.